So for the record, for anybody who's watching this, we are solving this problem, which is returns true if for every star in the string, both characters immediately before and after the star are the same. All right, so let's dive like what went well, what didn't go well. Why was there some threes? Why was there the fours? If what was the two? Let's like what's going on? Let's hear about this problem. Different approaches, anything.
Actually, the issue for me was not the index when iterating, starting at 1 and not 0 as usual.
Oh, okay, but you figured that out.
Yeah, I figured that out.
Nice. Okay. So that was a little bit of a tricky thing, yeah. Sam, you passed some test cases, but not all. What was some of the test cases you're not passing?
It was a lot more than the ones I passed. Let me see. I'm trying to see how I can explain it. Actually, let me just show my screen.
Cool. Let's take a look.
All right, give me 1 second.
Maria, let us know if Sam's screen is like similar to yours when we see it.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Let's see. Okay, so you started iterating at 1. Very cool.
Yeah. So this is the results.
So if string is equal to I and string at I. Oh, okay. Maria says that's exactly what she did. Interesting. Can anybody say maybe a reason why this might not work?
Let me see.
Like for Sam's problem of, let's see if one of these is in here. What? Okay, so like some of Sam's problems are returning false. Like the first one. Oh no, the first one is supposed to be false. Wait, expected true.
First one is supposed to be true, expected true, but mine is false, which is weird. If the string is equal to, so it should be true because I don't know.
Okay.
It's too early for me. I'm so sorry.
Well, I will say the first thing that I'm noticing is we're returning true or false based off of one instance of star. So as soon as we're returning in that for loop, the rest of the function is over. So if the first version of our star is true, it should return true. There might be some small error somewhere. Otherwise, you're having it return false, and like we're not getting to see these other stars.
Right. Yeah.
So that's something to consider. But that's okay. That's cool. I think you're very close though.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else go with a different kind of approach? Giovanni said that it doesn't account for no character before or after a star. It did account for before, right, Giovanni?
I came up with a solution very similar, but for example, like the third one.
Yes.
It's true, but since the star doesn't have anything before the index, the solution comes up with a false.
I see. Are you also iterating from the first spot?
Yeah, it was like almost exactly the same.
Oh, okay. Interesting. What else? Anybody else want to share?
Yeah, I could probably share mine. I just didn't account for like the before and after, like if it's empty, but
Nice. So you're saying if the string is a star, okay, if before and after, you go ahead and set it to false. Else if it's the same, you set it to true. Interesting. So for yours though, you could have a false and then it will get switched to true later on, right?
yeah.
So we could get some false results. That's interesting though. I like it. Nice. Thank you. All right. Actually, I solved this a few days ago, but I don't remember what I did. So,
Wait.
yeah.
So you was right, because I'm looking at the test cases, and I looked at the one particularly when if there was an empty string and it came out to true. So if I'm assuming that if the first index is a star, then whatever's before it is automatic true.
Oh, it is true.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. I got confused. Good point, Henry. Thank you. Okay, so let's go over this briefly, right? So,
Hey, Corey, real quick.
yeah.
I feel like I get why you have to start at 1, but can you explain it?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about this. So we're going to iterate through these, right? So we can see whenever we have a star, we have to check the right side and the left side to make sure these characters are immediately correct. Now, this gives us true. And so because this gives us true, it's telling us that if the star is the first character, it does not care because the character to the left doesn't exist and it's therefore fine with that being the same as whatever is to the right of it.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of like an odd rule, but that's what they're saying, that this is, and it's okay. So since that's true for when the star is in the very beginning, what's something we can infer also?
-1 on the length.
Deja says we can also -1 on the length. So if the star is at the end, it should also still be true. Okay. So we're going to iterate from 1 to string length. I can't spell. -1 or -1, right? And then we'll just check, hey, if we have a star, check to see if character before and after are the same. In the event that they're not the same, we should be returning false. If not the same, return false. Otherwise, we don't want to return true, we just want to continue on. Because if we return true, we might miss the opportunity to call it false later on. So otherwise we'll say, when we finish, or if we finish iteration, then we can go ahead and return true. Because we know we made it all the way through the string without returning false. So if it's not false, it must be true. So let's go ahead and write this. So it'll say, well, I'll call it function because it's the same as the other way. Function sameStarChar. sameStarChar. We will put in our string. And so let's go ahead and iterate through this, right? We said for let I equal to 1, while I is less than string dot length -1 I plus plus. Right, because there is a world where we say, oh, if I is 0, just continue. If I is string dot length -1, continue. But like, and I've seen that implementation before, but it's just kind of like, well, if we're just gonna continue if it's at 0 and continue at the end, why don't we just adjust the size of our loop a little bit? So here we'll say, okay, if character, oh, well, let's just make it character. We'll say let character equals string at I. And so we'll say, hey, if character is equal to our star. So in this case, this is the only case scenario that we care about. Otherwise, we just want to keep moving. So if it is equal to the star, we'll just check the left and the right. So we'll say if string at I -1, and we know we have a -1 because we're always starting at 1 anyway, so we don't have to like worry about having like an undefined or something. If this does not equal string at I +1, then we can just return false. So yeah, if star, if character before are the same. If they're not the same, return false. So if those are not the same, return false. If we finish iteration, return true. And now we'll check. So we'll just, and we pass. So it's kind of an interesting little puzzle. So this means we can also shorten this code, right? Because this is just a check and this is just a check. So might as well shorten that a bit and just say, and.
What?
Well, because now we're checking if the character is an asterisk and the character before and after are not the same. Here, I'll add a extra parenthesis.
I get that. I'm just trying to figure out how come I did that, but it didn't work.
Oh, well, we can take a look at your code and figure it out. And I'll just try this. Oops, I copied and pasted the same one, sorry. And we're still passing all of the examples. Really, we probably don't need this character. It's not really making it that much cleaner. And now we're good. Ashia, do you want to share your screen and then we can bounce back to this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
1. Boom, dad joke. Oh my God, I just spilled water all over my leg. Any questions on that implementation? I mean, we can go over it some more too after in a minute. For let I string length, if our string at I is equal to star, yeah, so you're returning no matter what.
Oh, okay.
So, right, so if that's true, you're returning true. Otherwise, you're returning false. But just because it returns true on the first star doesn't mean it should return true on the second star. So we
kind of like you have to think of the order of your test cases, like kind of like FizzBuzz, where you have to do like the mod 3, mod 5 first before you do the mod 3 and then the mod 5.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of like that. Because, well, we also just don't want to usually return in a for loop in an if-else situation.
Gotcha.
Because that usually means that the true output might be cutting it off early. Because the moment you return, the game is over. This should work. I think your computer's just, well, you didn't write return, you write return.
Oh, okay, got
Nice.
it. So then, question.
Yes.
With I don't know if you saw the first part of my function.
I wasn't really paying attention to that. You want to show it again?
Yeah.
Okay.
I tried to do like a for of.
So for of is going to be tough because you don't have any index. You don't have any reference to the index. So when you say character plus one, that would just turn like, in the first example, your first character is an X. Well, this only happens when your character is a star, right? So for the first example, your character is eventually a star. So what you're doing is string at the index of star plus one. Star plus one would be the string star one, and that's not an index in a string.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay, got it.
yeah, that's why that one won't work.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions on this problem at all? Anything that we're still not totally confident about here? All right, then. I will stop the share, stop recording.